This is one of my favorite movies ever made. And in this video, I am gone. Nah, tell you why. It's worth watching. The film is called Spartacus. It was released in 1960, and it stars Kirk Douglas. Now, if you know anything about this movie, you're probably aware that it was kind of a bomb at the box office, and it took in less than half of its production budget. However, over time, it has gained quite the reputation amongst fans of ancient Rome, sword and sandal flicks, or just good films in general. And with an 82% approval rating from critics and a 7.7 out of 10 average from over 284,000 users, I think it's safe to say Spartacus is worth your time. Before we begin, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this one. And with all that being said, let's meet some of the main characters of the film. First up, there's the character of Spartacus, played by Kirk Douglas. He's a Thracian gladiator who's captured by the Roman Empire and sold into slavery. But after enduring torture at the hands of his new owner, he manages to escape captivity and finds refuge at the gladiators training school run by Draba. Speaking of characters, we've got Draba, who is played by Tony Curtis. He's basically the mentor figure to Spartacus and the other gladiators who train under him. After years of training, Draba decides it's finally time to put his skills to the test. So he enters himself and his best students into a competition hosted by the Roman Emperor Marcus Lecinius. Now, while Draba is training his gladiators, we have another main character, Marcus Lecinius Crassus, who is played by Laurence Olivier. He's basically the main antagonist of the film, and even though he doesn't appear until the second act, he makes quite the impression when he does show up. The way they portray Crassus is that he's a ruthless, power-hungry, and insanely wealthy man who will stop at nothing to get what he wants. And as you can imagine, his path is set to collide with Spartacus and the other gladiators. Then we have Verenia, who is played by Gene Simmons. She's the love interest of Spartacus, and she's also a slave of Crassus. At first, Spartacus and Verenia's relationship seems a bit conventional, with Spartacus being the strong and silent type, and Verenia being the damsel in distress. But as the film progresses, I'd say the relationship becomes more egalitarian. Finally, we have Julius Caesar, who is played by John Ireland. He's basically the secondary antagonist of the film, and is essentially Crassus's right-hand man. He's ambitious, ruthless, and cunning, and at times appears to be even more sinister than Crassus himself. In terms of the plot, the story follows Spartacus, a hardened Thracian warrior who's captured by Roman forces and sold into slavery. After enduring brutal treatment at the hands of his cruel master, Spartacus manages to escape and seeks refuge at the gladiator training school of Draba. Under Draba's expert tutor, Spartacus hones his gladiatorial skills alongside fellow captives, forging unbreakable bonds of brotherhood. As the gladiators prepare for the competition hosted by the Roman Emperor Marcus Lecinius, Spartacus falls in love with Verenia, a beautiful yet enslaved woman who captures his heart. Meanwhile, Crassus, a power-hungry and wealthy senator, uses the competition to assert his dominance and amass even more power and riches. When Spartacus wins the competition, Crassus, furious over his defeat, concocts a sinister plan to exact revenge. This sets the stage for a thrilling climax where Spartacus leads a rebellion against the Roman Empire, challenging the might of Crassus and his forces. As the rebellion gains momentum, Spartacus's bravery and leadership inspire thousands of slaves to rise up against their oppressors. In a final showdown, Spartacus confronts Crassus, seeking to overthrow the corrupt emperor and bring justice to Rome. The fate of Rome hangs in the balance, as Spartacus and his fellow rebels fight for freedom and equality. The reason I love this movie so much is because of the themes it portrays. It's a movie about fighting back against tyranny and standing up for what you believe in, no matter how overwhelming the odds are stacked against you. It's also a great example of the power of camaraderie and the strength that can be found in unity. In terms of the acting, I thought everyone was fantastic in this film. Kirk Douglas is perfect as the stoic and determined Spartacus. Tony Curtis is equally impressive as the wise and courageous Drab, and Laurence Olivier brings his usual charm and menace to the role of the villainous Crassus. Gene Simmons is also wonderful as Verenia, and John Ireland is fantastic as the conniving Caesar. I also really enjoyed the action sequences in this film. The chariot race is particularly well staged and suspenseful, as are the various battles between Spartacus's rebel army and the Roman legions. There are also some really cool fight scenes throughout the movie, especially the ones featuring Kirk Douglas. He trained for months to prepare for the role, and it definitely shows. Another thing I really liked about this movie was the cinematography. The film is beautifully shot, and the costumes and set design are top-notch. The film was actually nominated for 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Actor for Kirk Douglas, Best Supporting Actor for Tony Curtis, and Best Costume Design. It lost out to another one of my favorite movies, The Ben-Hur. But even though it didn't win, it was still a very big deal at the time, and rightly so. Overall, I think Spartacus is a must-watch for anyone who enjoys historical epics. It's got everything you could want in a movie: great acting, amazing action sequences, a compelling story, and stunning visuals. If you've never seen it before, I highly recommend checking it out. You won't be disappointed. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the film, so please let me know in the comments below if you agree with my assessment or if you think I am crazy for liking this movie so much. Also, if you've never seen Spartacus, I'd love to hear from you and find out what your favorite movie is. As always, guys, thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.